Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So first and foremost, welcome. My goal has always been to, at least this year, is to post one video a month and eventually go a little bit more if I could. Because I do have a full-time corporate job, and then of course I do the blogging on the side, which I truly love, and I do want to build that brand a little bit more. So let me just start off by saying that if you're watching this video, you have probably seen my Instagram or Facebook where I finally announced what I have been working on since December. So let me just kind of rewind a little bit so I can kind of explain. So when Sassy Pretty Lifestyle became what it was, I knew at some point I did want to change the name. However, I didn't know when that was going to be. I just wanted to try it. I thought it was who I was because I am very sassy, but I felt like the pretty lifestyle, like that wording seemed a little vain at some point, but that's not what I meant for it to be like. And I don't know if people took it that way or not. And the funny story is that I wanted the name to be Pretty Sassy Lifestyle, PSL. But I ended up switching the first two words and just flipped them because I didn't want the hashtag to be PSL, which is pumpkin spice latte. I didn't want to do that. And maybe that would have been like a really good like branding way, like when you hashtag it, I would pop up, but I didn't want that. And so I just switched it and did it to Sassy Pretty Lifestyle. And I'm like, it kind of fits me, because I am little, like short, and, sassy. And, it's the lifestyle, my life, my kids, my family, my health journey, just stuff like that. And I know I haven't done the whole posting on my health journey, which I will be. I just want to get my appointment next month going so I kind of know where I'm going to go, like what the plan is going to be. But don't worry, I'm going to get there. I know I've had a few friends have asked like, hey, like when are you going to talk about it a little bit more just so people understand it? And I will. Those are the videos that Chris has to do with me. But we're going to skip that part for now. So that being said, like I said, I wanted to change the name at some point. I just didn't know what it was going to be and when I was going to actually do it. So last year in August, well, I should say earlier in the year, I started noticing things about my mom, and I wasn't too sure exactly what it was. It hadn't been in our family at all, not that we know of, whether it was my mom's side. Definitely wouldn't be on my dad's side because it wouldn't affect her in any way, but just trying to go back a little bit on my mom's history and like family wise, nobody really had this. So I started noticing things, and I wasn't paying attention just yet, because my mom was 69 at the time. And, I'm thinking, okay, it's like, she's getting older, and, she's starting to be forgetful and stuff like that, which is very normal as we age. I mean, heck, I'm very forgetful, and so is Chris. But I know that just happens, right, with life, and just being busy all the time, and you kind of forget sometimes. But then at one point, it kind of dawned on me that, okay, I think it's time that she may need to see a neurologist. So my dad's sister had come into town to visit from Houston. And my dad is from Mexico. And so obviously Spanish is their first language. So when my aunt was speaking in Spanish to all of us and, speaking directly to my mom was responding in English, and that wasn't like her, like at all. And so I just paid attention to it a little bit, and I was wondering and kind of thinking to myself, oh, like, well, I don't know, maybe my tia's like, trying to practice more on her English or something, just kind of, not thinking too much of it. So I finally asked her later on in that day, like, hey, like, I noticed that when Tia was, speaking to you in Spanish, you were responding in English. Like, why was that? And she's like, you know what? She's like, I don't know. She's like, it's like I forgot it. She's like, in my head, I knew what to say, but my brain wasn't telling my mouth to say it out loud. Like, that's how it was. That's how she explained it to me. And so I'm like, okay. So I had a conversation with my dad, and then also with my aunt, because, you know, we always go out together. We would do stuff before COVID. We would have like a girls' day, and we'd go to La Cantera, which is an outdoor shopping center here in San Antonio. And that was kind of our thing. We'd go eat, and we'd spend all day shopping, you know, over there, Hobby Lobby, Target, Walmart, you name it, we were there just because we were spending time with one another. And that was fun for us. And so I asked her, hey, since you're going to be out with her and, you know, taking her places and stuff like that, can you pay attention and have you noticed anything? And she kind of noticed the same thing. And my mom had cataract surgery. My aunt still has her doctors. Everybody is still in Houston. So when they go, my aunt was saying that she was starting to not finish her sentences completely. Like she would start it, and in her mind she finished the sentence, but she didn't. Like she forgot it and just hopped to a whole different subject. So I sat my mom down and I'm like, hey, like, have you noticed anything with your memory? And she's like, yeah, I'm a little bit more forgetful. I'm forgetting my words, you know, here and there. And I don't know, like maybe I need to go see a doctor. And I'm like, good plan. So we found her a doctor, and they did all the tests that they needed to do. Of course, when we called, I want to say it was probably like February or March. It had to be in February, because then in March is when COVID happened. And then all the appointments just, you know, they got delayed or they got postponed. So by the time she was able to do all of the testing, and of course the PET scan is like the main scan that the doctors, or at least the neurologist, can truly determine whether or not it was just, or, you know, dementia, just losing her memory, or if it was Alzheimer's. We had no idea. So she went through all the testing. She finally got the PET scan back, and then in August it was confirmed that she did have dementia, but she also had sorry, I had to take a break real quick. It was confirmed that she had the early onset Alzheimer's. And so I knew it, like in my heart I knew it, in my mind I knew it. It fit, you know what I mean? And my husband's side of the family, like they've had it, you know, his grandmother and other family members. So we knew of it, you know, but it was just a shock, like complete shock when it was my mom, because I'm like, wow, like she was a spitfire, like she was just on it, like nonstop. And so to see it completely change, it was kind of crushing, to be honest. And then having to explain that to my dad and like what to expect. And that's the thing, like I think that's something that they're still both kind of coping with, like what is to be expected, because when you have Alzheimer's, you never know how fast they're going to decline. So I want to say I took it fairly well in the beginning, but I'm very good at separating the emotion with what I'm being told. I'm very good at doing that. But as I get older, I notice that it's being a little bit more difficult. And I don't know if it's because I have my own illness that I'm still trying to figure out. And so that gets very mentally hard, difficult. And then knowing that now my mom, like, what am I supposed to do? It is so incredibly hard. Thank God for my husband, Chris. I had a meltdown. I believe it was on Halloween. Yeah, it was like on Halloween. We were about to take the kids to go trick-or-treating. And we had some of our really good friends come over. And my mom had come over, and we were just talking and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think I was just so overwhelmed with like my own illness, and then like with my mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to take care of her? Like how am I going to do this? Because shit, I'm sick myself, and I can barely get up to cook dinner for my kids. I can barely play Legos with them or even take them outside because I am so sick and nauseous 24/7 due to my cyclic vomiting syndrome and whatever else I may have. It's just been very hard this past year, especially last year was probably like the worst, that my symptoms have just really skyrocketed. But we'll figure that out later. But anyway, there was just so many thoughts and emotions going through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what do I do? So obviously I began fasting, not in the sense of food wise, right? Because I mean, heck, I barely taken enough calories as it is, not on purpose, just because I feel sick all the time. I'm incredibly nauseous, so to eat is very difficult. However, fasting meaning that whatever I would do after work, which was normally I would sit down and I would catch up on a show that I recorded. My very good friend Jen de Belen and Tanya were like, maybe this is where you need to spend time with God and, reintroduce yourself with him and the Bible and stuff. And so that's what I've been doing. And wow, it has made such a huge difference. And I feel like that night where I just bawled my eyes out, like, just show me, like, show yourself to me, reveal yourself to me, tell me what, I need to do. And I got so much clarity that day. It was incredible. Like that night, I just felt this incredible like calmness. And so I have been doing that as often as I can, and just being in the moment. And I'm such a planner. So knowing that I can plan only to a certain extent, if that makes sense. So that's basically where that comes from. Anyway, Chris and I sat down and we talked about what we were going to do. And we have a plan in place of what we're going to do. We are, I love our current home that we're in. We built it from the ground up. He built my parents' current home. And we decided that, you know what, I think we're going to sell the house. We're going to get it ready. We are going to sell it. We are going to find some land, a few acres, and build like a little casita right next to us, behind us, whatever, just so that my parents are super close to me. I'm there. I don't have to travel, even though they don't live far from me right now. I won't have to travel and drive, just because with me being sick all the time, it's not a good idea that I drive, because I do have blackouts, which again, that'll be a whole different story, that'll be a different video. I definitely don't want this video to be very sad or anything like that. This is just my life. This is what's going on. This is what made the change of my name, and I'll tell you. That's why I'm continuing to tell you guys. So anyway, we got our plan in place of what we're gonna do, and we're currently still looking for land. And we kind of know exactly what kind of home we want, things that I need specifically for my business, my brand, and then stuff that I need, for my parents, just in case if something happens, they'll be able to move in with us if we have to. But I like giving them their own independence. So having that smaller home behind us, because the home that they're in right now is just way too big for them. So I think that'll be a huge difference, but God willing, things will be in place and it'll go as we have planned. I know things can come in and change and stuff like that, but that's the goal. As long as she continues to say how she's doing, I think it's a good plan for now. So they did have her on one medication, and she did really well with it. They ended up upping that dose, and she had a horrible reaction to it. So they put her back down to the original, and then they just gave her a second one, and she's been doing really good. Now, how long she'll stay like this, I have no idea. Nobody really does. But the doctor did tell me that by this summer, by June, at her next appointment, he will let us know whether or not he'll have a better idea of how fast she could go down, or if she can kind of maintain the same level that she is now. So her short-term memory is pretty shot, but her long-term is ridiculously incredible. She can remember stuff from, when childhood, like, I'm Mexican, so we have like a lot of family and a lot of cousins, and I don't even remember who's married to who, or who had, what kid. And she can remember like that, like easily, like, chronological order, like who was born first, and this was second, third, fourth, fifth. Like, she totally remembers it. And my aunt is like, heck, I don't even remember that. So it's awesome to kind of see her do that, for her to remember that kind of stuff. But the short term, I said, is that's a little iffy. So that was kind of the moment when all that started happening. I had been thinking about changing my brand name. I knew what I kind of wanted it to be, but like I said, I didn't know when I should do it. And I was having this conversation with my mom, and she was like, well, why are you waiting? You know, like if you want to change it, like do it. And I'm like, I mean, like why? You know, like, I mean, I'm a very small, you know, influencer, and I'm okay with that. Like I want to grow very naturally and very organically. And I'm like, I'm okay. It's just, I love what I do. Like I love, you know, I'm very girly. So I love sharing like hair and makeup and stuff like that. I mean, heck, you can ask my mom and my aunt and just all my friends that I grew up with. And I was like, you know, you know, I have a full-time job and sometimes it's very difficult to do it, but it's just like planning everything. And anyway, she was just like, you know, just Mija, like go for it. You know, like, why are you waiting? I'm like, let's just wait, you know, let's see. And, I go and I think it was that weekend I went and got my nails done with Kim at House of Polish here in San Antonio. And I had this set of bracelets that a friend of ours had make some bear cub bracelets, and I had this set, and it was like the pretty pinks and stuff like that, which is my favorite color. And Kim did my nails, and I'm like, hey, you know what? My inspiration are the bracelets, you know, just kind of give me those colors. You know, I love all the different mauves and rose pinks and just, you know, that kind of thing. And she's like, okay. And so right when she was doing my nails, I always go outside and I take a picture, and I give my manicure a name. I've been doing that since I've been going to Kim at House of Polish. And when I was taking the picture and the photo, that's when I kind of start thinking of the names, and it hit me. It just came to me, Blush and Bashful. And yes, that is from Steel Magnolias, but this story goes way back. In my blog, I actually talk about where it came from. So when I was about maybe 4, 5, I was small, about 4 or 5. Our bathroom in my childhood home was blue. Blue, there was like wallpaper that had like blue and like silver on it. The cabinets my dad had painted like a really light blue. We had like the toilet seat, like back in the day, it was like the cushiony one, and then on top you'd have like the embroidery or some kind of design on top. That was also blue. The rugs were blue. The tile in the tub was blue. Like everything in that bathroom was blue. And anyway, how it starts is behind, like if I'm sitting on the toilet, not using the toilet, but you know, the top is closed and I'm sitting on it. We had, you know, the little, I don't know, like a little cabinet kind of thing. And my mom had all her makeup, like just stacked, right? You know, like on the little shelves. And I remember her telling me as a very young child, do not mess with my makeup. Do not touch it. Do not play with it. It is not for little girls. It is for adults. Okay. So she told me that I could not, you know, use it on myself, that I shouldn't be playing with it. Okay. So I understood that. So then one day I just kept looking at her stuff, and being the curious little child that I was thinking to myself, and I remember I had this thought, well, she said I couldn't use it on myself, but she never said I couldn't use it on toilet paper. And so, funny story, I started taking art classes with my brother probably around that time, or my brother is huge into art. Like he could just freehand graphic design, you name it, he can do it. And so I always wanted to mimic him. And so I would grab like 4 or 5 sheets of toilet paper and then, you know, like tear it off. And then I would fold it into each little square. And what I would do is, my mom always had a pen, like with her makeup. And so I grabbed the pen and I used to draw little eyes and like a nose and a mouth. And I would give, you know, my toilet paper lashes. And I basically just drew a face. It's no different than when you go to Nordstrom or Mac or Macy's or wherever and you go get a makeover. They always have that sheet, and you know, it has like the woman's face, and they're writing down everything they use: foundation color, blush, lipstick, lip liner, you know, you name it, they write it on there. It was basically the exact same thing. And so that's what I would do. So I was giving my toilet paper, the little ladies or the faces that I was drawing, I would actually use my mom's makeup and put it on there and give them a makeover, because she said I couldn't use it on myself, but never did she say I couldn't use it on toilet paper. So that's what I did. And I never used her, well, I did use her lip liners, but I never used the sharpener because it was scary. Like I didn't know how to use it and I was afraid I was going to hurt myself. So she would always complain that her lip liners were, you know, they weren't sharp anymore. And I'm like, I didn't do it. I mean, I never come out with it because you'd be able to tell. I mean, a 5-year-old trying to take off lip liner, can you imagine? It'd be all over my face. So, but I was using it on, on the toilet paper. And so I would use her brushes and stuff like that. I want to say my mom, the majority of her makeup, like she had so much, and everything that she had at the time was Lancome. Like she loved Lancome. That was the thing. Lancome was the thing. And her lipsticks, blushes, everything. But I remember she had like one whole shelf just filled with blushes. And there were so many different shades. And my mom is a morenita, meaning she's a darker skin than I am. And she always had like the berry colors and like the bright rose colors and just a lot of mauve colors, you know. It was those shades of berry, those shades of rose. And so I guess being a 5-year-old, I always thought of blush as those different colors. Like all those colors to me represented blush. It was just blush. So probably around the same year, I mean, everything just kind of happened like all at the same time. I don't know if it was one of my aunts or one of my mom's friends. Somebody asked me what my favorite color was. And I said blush. And they told me, no. You know, they kind of laughed and they're like, no, blush isn't a color. And I'm like, yes, it is. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it is. And I'm like, if you don't believe me, ask my mom. She has so many of them. Like that was my answer because my mom had so many different shades of blush that I correlated that with all the different colors of roses that she had, like all those berries and rose and, you know, all those colors. So that's where the name blush comes from. And bashful, bashful you would think would be like another, like a rosy cheek or something like that. But for me, it doesn't. For me, bashful, I think of the color blue. And I didn't even know why. When I was taking the picture of my nails and it came to me blush and bashful, I knew that my colors, what I wanted, the first thing that came to me were obviously the different shades of pink, but I wanted a blue. And I don't know why the blue came. And it wasn't until I came home and I started thinking about it, I remembered it's because my childhood bathroom was blue. So I wanted different shades of blue. And so that was my aha moment. That was the moment when I came home after getting my nails done. I sat down and I kind of thought about it, and it was just like the light bulb went off. So I told Chris, hey, I think I want to rebrand. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I think I want to rebrand. And so I talked to him about it, and I started looking to like where to go. And I met a new friend on Instagram, and we've been doing all these shares together. And I noticed that she had used a company that rebranded her site, and she also has like an online boutique. And so I saw that they rebranded her stuff as well. But I kept seeing this business pop up like weeks prior, but I never really paid attention to it until I happened to look at this friend's Instagram, and I saw that business, and I'm like, what a coinkydink. Pretty coincidence there. And so I reached out to them, and we kind of got the ball rolling, and we started this in December. And I have to tell you, Trek Your Market has been phenomenal. They have taken this whole website, I mean, my colors, the design, my personality, everything that I ever wanted, they have basically combined it all and brought my website to life, like everything that I wanted. So yeah, I went ahead and I rebranded to Blush Bashful Lifestyle and Fashion Blog by Sasha. And I absolutely love it. And I feel like all of this came to me right when my mom was diagnosed. And I feel like Blush and Bashful is basically a tribute to her, because without all the Lancome makeup and that bathroom, like I honestly think that all the makeup that she had and me drawing those faces on the squares made me who I am, of being the girly girl that I am. Because my mom we're a total opposite. She could care less about, you know, of course she wants her hair done and a little bit of makeup, but she's definitely not like me. Totally opposite, which is awesome. And so she appreciates it when I do her makeup and stuff and her hair. But yeah, it's just like BBL is all for her. Like, it's totally a representation of who I am, but behind it, it's her. So she basically created the love of hair and makeup for me, and why I love it so much. And basically that's what it all comes down to, is Blush and Bashful, or BBL, is basically all because of her. So I decided to transition it, and so by the time you see this video, it will have been live. It'll be live. It'll be up. It'll be running, and I'm really excited about it. And I hope you guys really like it too. I just wanted to give you guys a backstory of why I changed it, and even though this was so much information at once, I just kind of want to combine it. I will say that yesterday I did go to my aunt's house, and we did like a small little video, which is going to be right after this, or combined. This is kind of an intro of the video. And basically I want to kind of not photograph, because, you know, we have photographs for memories, and definitely I will be taking more pictures and just more memories of my mom. But I also want to take a video of kind of, not just for me, you know, but for my kids and for my aunt and for other people who have gone through this, who've had a family member with Alzheimer's and stuff like that, because this is new to me. It's completely different when it's, you know, my husband's side of the family and his grandmother and stuff like that. Like, it's still my family, but I didn't grow up with them, you know, and I feel like there's just a little bit of a distance there. And not to be in a mean, I mean, I don't mean that to be in a mean or bad or ugly way at all. But when it happens to you, like an immediate family, like it hits, you know, like in a whole different spot. So I just figured, you know what, why not share my journey? If I share my health journey already, why not share my mom's? Because that's what this BBL is for. It's my life. It's, you know, how I live. We all go through stuff. And I feel like if I share that with you guys, like, you guys can give me feedback. Like, hey, you know, like, I went through this with my mom or my grandfather or my dad or whoever. You can give me advice, because again, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, you know? The doctors can only give you so much information, but ultimately it's up to you and your family and me, and, you know, to get all this going. So yeah, so I ended up doing that video yesterday with my aunt and my mom, and I just quickly did her makeup because I needed to get a photo of us, because I wanted to add it to the blog that talks about why I changed the name and stuff like that, because I only have pictures of me and my mom for my wedding. And so I decided, you know what, let me bring my aunt, because this is part of her story too. You know, this is her sister, her only sister. And yeah, so that's basically where this comes from. And I know this was a lot. I hope, you know, you're still, you know, watching this, but this will probably be the longest video I will have on YouTube. But yeah, I just hope you enjoy it. We were just having a conversation and from yesterday's video. And I do want to mention that this may be like a small little series that I will be doing on YouTube on my channel. I will say this is probably going to be like a series that I'm going to add to my channel, where it will be we called it the Chronicles of Las Viejitas, and Las Viejitas are like the old women. But this is something that we called ourselves like a long time ago, when my aunt and uncle moved over here, like close to us, because we all live like within 10 minutes of one another. You know, every time we would go shopping and stuff like that, my aunt is like me, like she's just loud and she's funny and she's very witty. And then my mom is, as she's gotten older, she's very conservative and she's just very quiet and stuff like that. And she just laughs at us, and you'll just hear her laughing the entire time, which is another coping mechanism that I noticed. When she forgets her words or doesn't know what to say, she just laughs and she giggles, which is totally fine. I'm okay with that. But I did a little mini makeover on her, and we were just talking, and then my uncle comes in, and you know, it's just it's basically like a vlog. You know, I'm gonna be basically just kind of recording as much as I can, you know, of us with her, just to still take her out, you know, because we still can. And, you know, however long she has left, meaning not with her passing, but I'm saying with her still remembering the stuff, you know, where she still remembers who I am or my kids and stuff like that. Yeah, we just want to make it as adventurous as we can for her, without hurting her, if that makes any sense, not physically or mentally. But she had given us the okay. She gave me the okay to do it. And she's like, you know what? She's like, it's a memory that the grandkids will have. She's like, and I'm okay with that. So right after this little part here, I'm going to go right into the video from yesterday, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I hope you love the name change. I hope you love the new site. I will be focusing more on my blog, because that is my baby. I own it. That is mine. And I want to get this brand growing as organically and naturally as I can. And so feel free to leave some suggestions or advice if you have a loved one who has had it or is going through it. I am all open to any and every suggestion, because again, we're kind of walking this kind of blindly, but just taking it one day at a time, and we'll keep you posted. Just follow along and just hope you enjoy the journey with me. See you guys later. Bye.